So it's pretty cool. So I appreciate that for sure.
Yeah, and you family, you my niece sister, so you know.
Hey, I appreciate that. She's a, she's just a small piece. Nah, she's a big piece of everything that we do. So it's pretty cool. It's
Yeah, yeah,
pretty
yeah.
cool. Let's get to work.
I just told him take the wheel, I'm just walking in my purpose, on purpose. I got the faith, I know I'm working. Protect my inner peace, I'm digging deep and really only scratch the surface. It ain't perfected, but it's perfect. I just told him take the wheel, I'm just
So today with us on Stewart Talk, we're honored to have a special guest with us. Here on Stewart Talk, we walk in our purpose on purpose, and today's guest is definitely doing that. Great leader of young women, great student athletes that she has the privilege and the honor to coach, to train, to develop. They speak nothing but great things, and they love how she keeps it real with them. They love how she don't take it easy. They love how she makes them get better. Overall, they just keep on. Like, I've interviewed several of her players and they say the same thing. So it's just great what she's doing, but not only just for the youth, for other players as well, for other people that gotta love to get better in the game. And even, one of the Big Ten player of the year, in my opinion, hopefully
Oh yeah,
chance as
absolutely.
well. That's great. Today we have with us the one, the only, the phenomenal coach, Amber Gray. How you doing
I
today?
I'm doing good. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. So where did this love for basketball start with you at?
I mean, I was young. I think the cool part for me is I wasn't it a story I always tell is my first basket that I made was for the other team. So like well yeah. Like I swear on everything I love. So when I first started playing, I was like, I don't know. Like I know I'm tall, I know I'm athletic, right? So that part is just in me. But I don't know if I'm really gonna be good. So when I was about 8, 9 years old, I really started being like, okay, let's see what we can do. And I swear on everything I love, the first basket I made for the other team. I mean, first basket I made was for the other team. So I was like, nah, this ain't gonna be for me. But I stuck to it and I grinded it out and I got the opportunity to play professionally. So it was fun.
Yeah, you come from a family that got prefer other professionals
Absolutely.
as well. Your father played in the NFL?
Yeah, he did. Yep. He played for
Yeah.
what? I think it was 9 seasons.
So
So
how
that
much
was
how much
cool.
how much pressure was that? My dad playing the pros. If I do something, I gotta go and be,
Yeah.
that. How was the
Um,
approach?
you know what? Honestly, I come from a very successful family, right? So whether it was my great grandparents and fighting in wars and fighting for freedom, or my mom doing what she does in corporate America, obviously my dad in sports. So I've always put a lot of pressure on myself um, to make sure that I was also successful, but it really wasn't to hold up to their standards. It was more so there was always something in me like, nah, there's other young people who are looking up to me. So I got to make sure, right? I got to make sure that I'm successful so that they have that one person that can be like, nah, you know what? Amber Gray did it, so I can do it too.
Yeah.
And my dad really didn't put a lot of pressure on me while he was playing to be successful. Now, once he retired and became my trainer and my coach, then it was that grind out. Like, nah, my dude, I'm gonna be more successful than you. So it's fun to see that dynamic grow throughout the years to where now I'm chasing not his athletic accomplishments more so now I'm like, okay, now I got to be a better trainer than you. So he pushes me without even knowing that he's pushing me just to be the best version of me as an athlete that I can be.
Yeah. And when did you start to see the growth and the ability and the talent and chance?
That was when she was a little baby. I mean, she Chance kind of really didn't have a choice but to be great. And it wasn't, but I say that, and it wasn't because of any extra pressure that we intentionally put on her, right? But like she was in the gym as a newborn, like so she was just it had no choice. Like she'll be dribbling the ball in the middle of the drills. My dad like run her over, she'll learn.
Wow.
Run her over, she'll learn. And so seeing her grow throughout this journey and knowing like I've had the opportunity to see her finish out high school and now in college, and to be able to be in the gym with her has been it's been phenomenal, and she hasn't even reached her peak yet with all the
I know.
accomplishments that she's had, and what she's doing and what she's gonna be able to do this year at Ohio State. Like, people are really gonna be like, oh no, like Chance really is that dog. Like,
Yeah.
she's her. And she's the next to come out of Ohio. And there's been some greats. I mean, look at Kelsey Mitchell right now doing it in the league. And I
Yeah.
truly believe, not because she's my sister, but because of how much I'm around the game, that she's going to be next.
And she put in the work. So
Oh yeah.
did you always know you were going to be a coach, or you always felt like I'm gonna be around the game because your dad, or did your coaching start helping and making sure a Chance was cool?
No, it honestly, it started before Chance. So I have another sister, Alana,
Okay.
who played at Akron, and now she's in diving into medical school and stuff like that. Um, so both of them always wanted to play basketball, but that's not when my coaching started. Like, I always knew at a young age I was supposed to work with youth. Like, I wanted to be a teacher or something like that. And then once I kind of went through, which we'll dive in later, everything I went through and just talking, I was like, okay, I'm not meant to be a traditional leader, but I can take basketball. I mean, a traditional teacher. I can take basketball and teach kids life lessons and basketball lessons and help them grow to be the best version of themselves at the next level through the game that I love so much and that I literally owe my life to. So at that point, once I went through all the medical things and going to Tennessee and coming back and realizing, like, look, Coach Summit and all the other coaches that I've played for laid a foundation. Somebody has to continue to build on that. And somebody has to get these kids ready for whatever the next phase of their basketball career is, or just the next level of life is.
Yeah. Do you remember your first coaching gig, and what was it? Was you assistant? Was you head coach, or was it? What was
My first coaching gig was coaching with my pops. and
it?
and it was so cool because, like, I coached, it was Chance, it was Layla from Cincinnati, it was KK from Cincinnati. It was so many dogs at that young age on that team. So to be able to look back and see some of the pictures where I'm like, nah, we've been able to impact so many young girls' lives through an orange ball, right? So it was cool because my first gig was with my dad when I was still playing and I was still in college, and I would come back and I would just help as an assistant. I didn't know what I was doing, but because I had sat alongside Pat, I had coached. I mean, I had played for Coach Sum, and I played for Kevin McGuff. I've had these opportunities to be under some of the greats. I knew my knowledge was there and I had that IQ, and now it was okay, boom, let's give back, let's help. And it started off as just being a sister, but then it turned into, nah, I can actually be really good at this.
Yeah. What would you say to young up and coming coaches? Because what you said to me stuck out, because you had a passion for the youth and a
Mhm.
game all in itself. So you wasn't coaching just to coach, just to have the sweetest team, or to live out some of
Right.
your dreams through the kids, how some of
Absolutely
them
not.
be. So what would you say to a young up and coming coach?
Keep your reason why, and keep it first. You know, and I say that because, like, my why was to give back to the game and to give back to the youth. And you don't want to get lost in how crazy this AAU world, or now college with NILs, and it's
Yeah.
so money driven, and it's so, well, I need the best kids in my program so now I can get the hype and the clout to when they get to the next level. For
Yeah.
me personally, it's, I don't care if you're the best or if you're the weakest. Like, I owe basketball my life, and my why is to help these young people get to the next level. So keeping that first would definitely be the best advice I could give to the up and coming coaches.
Yeah. And did you have a experience, a situation, or just all what you've been through? And is it some specific thing you've been through why you have a love for the game and you owe it that much?
Basketball saved my life. So in 2009, I had a brain aneurysm and a stroke while I was at Tennessee. And so when I was going through that, and the rehab and the getting back to it, like, my only drive, well, one of my major drives was to get back to the game that I love, right? And to allow my sisters to see me go through that, but not ever give up. So when I'm looking at giving back to these kids in my youth, like, when God saved my life during that time, I know that His plan and purpose was for me to give the opportunity to these young kids that I never had per se, because when I was coming up, right, my dad was my trainer, but it wasn't all of these different opportunities out there. Like, so now you have it. We're here. We're going to put you in an opportunity to play in front of college coaches because that's the level that I'm at now, or I'm going to train you because I know what it takes to get there. And so when I went through all of my medical issues and then was able to get back on the court again and not just play at Xavier, but to play professionally, I knew that I had the story, the testimony, and now the platform to make sure that I gave everything that I had back to the game that saved my life.
So I mean, I already just know about your love, but that is another reason can't nobody be on your court talking about they want to give up or they can't,
No,
because you gonna be like, listen, you talk
yeah,
about you want to give up, like
that part.
yes,
It's real, but this is the cool thing about everything that I went through, right? Is yes, I did it. Yes, it was a one-off. Yes, statistically, I'm not supposed to be here right now. But that's where my passion, that's the passion that I try to give off to every kid that I train or that I coach. Like, I get it, you're tired. But what if basketball was taken away from you today? Then what would you do? Right.
yeah,
So I'm like, you got 2 hours to leave it all out there on the floor. And whatever your why is, because I have some kids, single mom, single dad, I got to get to college because they don't have the money to pay for it. Or I want to be a pro, or I want to be like Kelsey, or I want to be like, these net Layla or KK or Chance. Like, okay, if that's your reason why, well, these are the hours that they're putting in to get there. And they've been hurt. They've never given up, because when you give up, like that's weakness in your mental. It has nothing to do with your physical. So
yeah,
I try to instill not just the love but the passion and the fight to, like, yo, whatever you're facing in life, it's a setback for a setup to be bigger and better than you were before.
yeah. Well, what is your approach with training athletes physically and mentally and getting them ready for college?
I would say the biggest thing is I try as a trainer, you have to have the fundamentals down first. So before I even build on and trying to make you this elite superstar that you want, well, if you don't have the right footwork into your shot, if you don't have the right footwork into your layups, if you can't continue to build on that, well, then we have to break it back down. And I don't care if we're just doing simple left, right, up, left, right, catching up, simple things like that, because that's the only way you can build. If your foundation isn't right, well, then you have nothing to build on. So my thing is, we're going to start with the foundations, because that's never change. That doesn't change no matter what level that you're at. And then we'll build on from there. And then there will be days when we feel like, okay, if I'm training, let's say I'm training a college player or a pro, or there's going to be days where I'll tell them up front, like, I want you to hate me today because I'm going to push you so hard, right, to where you physically want to quit. But what I'm training is your mental to take over, because whatever your mind tells your body is what it's going to do.
Yeah. How do you tailor your training to meet certain athletes' skill sets?
So I'll meet them where they're at. You know what I'm saying? Because I train anything from kindergartners all the way up to pros, but knowing where they want to get to, that's my only responsibility, right? And I
Mhm.
try to take away what the parents say, and I ask the question to the kids directly, like, how good do you really want to be? So if I have a kindergarten that's like, well, I like basketball right now, so I know I'm not going to push them as hard I'm going to push my sixth grader who says, like, no, Coach Amber, I want to be a varsity starter. So when I'm looking at it, I'm looking at what's the next step in your basketball career, right? If I have a beginner, I just want you to fall in love with the game. So as a beginner, I'm going to make our trainings a little bit more fun. We're going to have a little handshake. We're going to listen to some music. We're going to really learn to enjoy and love the grind and the process of the game. When I'm at my middle schoolers, well, now at this age, it's starting to get a little bit more serious, right? So while we're still going to have fun, now we're going to lock in. We're going to lock in. And that just continues to go as we get older. And then really, once you're looking at your college and your pros, well, they already love the game. They've already put in the thousands and thousands of hours. So now it's like, okay, let's get this good workout in. Let's watch this film. Let's watch this player, because this is how they dominate in this specific area. Now let's get this down pack and continue to grow that way.
Yeah. What advice would you have for people that's trying to work on their game? Because I know the fundamentals seem like it's lacking in a lot of AAU
Hmm.
and school ball. What
Yep.
would your advice be to the young athlete?
No, just focus on the grind. I tell a lot of my kids, you have to run your own race. Like, yeah, you're always going to look to the left and the right, but just because you're at point B and the person to the right of you is point why doesn't mean you're not going to get there. It might take you a little bit longer, or they may have started a little bit earlier. But if this is what you want to do, you have to wake up every single day and you have to become 2% better at whatever skill it is that you're doing, because the average person is only working to get 1% better.
Yeah.
So now, if you're getting 2% better every single day, you're going to surpass them, or you're going to keep growing and you're going to continue to be better in different aspects. Look at LeBron James. He's the oldest person in the league. He's been there, but every single year he finds something to get
Yeah.
better at. So you
Yeah.
have to continue to do that. And I'm working with certain kids right now with Whitley Davis on, you know, you want to be a D1 player and you've already got a couple of D1 offers. But this is where your skill is at now. If we're basing it on a certain level, well, within these next 2 months, we have to grow at this part. We have to go at this phase. We have to be able to understand. So just continue to grind and never settle.
Yeah. Um, Tell us a little bit about the W2 is it where to
Yeah.
yeah, tell us a little about the AAU program and how did it start and how long you been a part of it.
No, absolutely. We're going into year 3 with Where to Next as an AAU program. And we're growing so much, and it's so cool and so fun to see.
Y'all
We
structured more than a lot of, and I don't speak this on other people, but y'all I
Yeah.
thought y'all been around for so long because
Mm-mm.
y'all very well structured on all
Yeah,
levels.
we're growing, and we grow a lot behind closed doors, and we ask a lot of the right people. One of my biggest mentors in Tanisha Benson, who is all basketball, everything from a USA voter, McDonald's All-American voter. We've been best friends since we were 12. She's, part owner of the Sports City Angels. So I ask her a lot of questions on the business side and the structure, and I have Coach Tani who helps me tremendously on that aspect as well. I've seen a lot of programs be successful, and I've seen some programs not be successful. So you take and you learn from every experience, that I've had. My
Yeah.
first experience at this level actually was coaching with Kelly Peak, who now is a part of the FBC family, and I got to give her a lot of credit as well, because she brought me on and taught me a lot of the behind the scenes stuff on the good and the bads of it, and what you should do and what you shouldn't do when you are running your own program. So when Tanisha presented me with this opportunity, like, yo, you should start your own program, I jumped on it because I had the experience for a couple of years of being a co-director. Okay, well, now it's time for me to be a director and do things how I want it to be done, and really be able to give back to the kids. But we started off as just our nonprofit, and just doing camps and clinics and stuff like that. Again, going back off of my story, we focus on the next phase of your life, because where you've been is not as significant as where you're going. So the number 2 stands for a second chance. I got a second chance at life. And then once I got back onto the court, I changed my number from 10 to 2. And then my sisters also took on that number 2 and have represented it better than I could ever ask or imagine. And so that's really how we got started. There was an opportunity with a couple of different programs that merged together, and there were some kids that were left who were like, "Nah, you're good. You need a little bit more work or a little more training, but why not start it?" So Tani said, "Hey." Tani and Bench are like, "Yo, let's go. Let the market's now. Let's just roll it out."
Yeah. How do you do about recruiting kids or getting kids to try out for your team?
Mhm. Word of mouth. And because we start so young, we love to keep those kids in our program who are continuing to grow, continue to get to where we believe our program can be successful. Um, and we have that family atmosphere. I mean, if you've ever been to one of our games, our baselines are full. We're making sure our 17s are watching our fifth graders. Our fifth graders are watching our eighth graders. So people come in and they're like, nah, this really is a family. We take care of kids. We take care of our people. We do what we're supposed to do. on top of the development piece, I think is really, really big within kids and families today. I'm always in the gym. We're always working our kids out. And I'm lucky to have a phenomenal staff, coaching staff. That's the same way. We don't want the best of the best kids. Are we lucky to have some of them? Like, we are extremely blessed to have a Whitley Davis in my program. I'm extremely blessed to have a young Evan in our program, along with everybody else, right? That you've interviewed and you've talked to. But those kids grind, and they set the standard every single day of what it's supposed to look like. If you stick to it, you grind it out, you're going to continue to grow. And that's kind of how we hope to be around for years to come, because we're going to continue to go young. I mean, we have kindergartners who come in and are training with the 8th graders, right? So we're getting them to grow, and we're continuing to work.
Yeah. Do you coach any school ball as well?
I do. I coach at Sycamore High School.
Okay. What do you do with your program? I asked about this first, for your program, and get them ready to go back so they don't, because I know it's different when they under your tutelage going back to their school. So what do you do to talk to them or get them ready for the transition? Because it's going to be a transition.
No, absolutely. And the transition is hard. It's not necessarily as hard up front, because we try to communicate with our kids throughout high school season as well, and really work on, okay, this is your person. So I'll give you an example. We have them do a player profile, like if you were building a 2K player, right?
Okay.
So name, height, position, all of that stuff, your top 3 weaknesses and your top 3 strengths. So now if we're looking at your weaknesses, okay, well, these are the 3 things that you should continue to work on even throughout high school season to prepare you for that next level. And that's something that we continue to do throughout the year and continue to grow. And we just stay in contact with each other. We try to go out and support them as much as we possibly can. We're lucky because, for the most part, a lot of our kids have good high school coaches. Like, for example, if we have a handful of kids that are going to Winton Woods, well, we know they're getting that work in during the season. So we don't necessarily have to worry about, hey, are you okay? Are you getting better? And then we have a couple of those kids who know that is not the best situation, and they're not getting the skill work per se. So then I'll just train them in one-on-one sessions during the season.
Yeah, because I know that Winton Woods coach over there. I know he's doing something. I
Yeah,
was shocked. I was interviewing Sid, and she described like what she do, and she said they throw me the ball, and if the double team come, I look up and I find the open man. I said, "Hold on, wait, you too young to be talking about like that stuff college people be talking about." I said, "Where did you learn that at?"
Yeah.
That's what my coach at Winton Woods teach me. So I'm
No,
like,
absolutely.
yeah. And then I found the clip. She did it in the game. So you
Yep.
know that it's translating. How good does that feel when you teaching them something and you see them on the court doing it, even though I know they can do it before they do it.
No,
but how fun
for
is that
sure.
to get them to know, like, this is what I'm talking about?
Yeah, it's an amazing feeling to see what we talk about and what we work and what we train go into game-like situations, because that's what we're doing it for, right? If a kid can't understand what we're teaching them in practice or training, then we have to adjust how we're teaching it and training it, because we need them to be able to take it and translate it over into game-like situations. So I do learn, and I do talk with my dad a lot, and some college coaches as well, right? Like, one of my biggest mentors is Katrina Merriweather. She coached me, she trained me, I worked alongside of her. So I'm able to watch and speak and talk to them on, okay, well, how would you teach this to somebody who wants to play at the next level? How can we break it down? So it's really fun to see it translate over.
Yeah, last couple of questions. I'm gonna get you out of here.
No, you're good.
How do you guys handle the college journey, the process with that, getting them ready for college, reaching out? How does that process look for you guys?
We have to do a lot of hands-on calling and reaching out to coaches and making sure they're getting to the next level. And a lot of that just has to do with the times of it now. A lot of coaches, high level D1 or mid-major D1s, those Power 5, Power 4, Power 16, they're going into the portal. So when you're looking at how to navigate that recruiting process right now, it's you know what, we're going to get you to school at your level of where you are at right now. If you feel or if you want to go to the next level, well, then once you get into college a little bit and you show them that you can play at that speed, that height, you can play at that level. Now we can take it to another level and we can reach out and you can jump in the portal or you can do whatever, it is right now. And it's tough. It's tough because you don't have the big time name backing you right now in terms of a West Virginia Thunder, and I love Scott, or a PA Bruins. I love John Tate, or SCA, or any of those programs. You don't have that name yet, but what we do have, and what I'm learning to use, is my name and my relationships that I have, because coaches are learning to trust within that. So I tell my kids right up, like, look, I'm putting my neck on the line for you all, so you better show up and perform and
Yeah.
do what you need to do, because we have another young group of kids who are good and coming through that we need these coaches to come back and watch.
Yeah. What is your goal for this upcoming season at your school that you're in now, and what's your goal for the upcoming year? Where to next?
Man, it's just to continue to grow. We had a successful season where almost all of our 17s have gotten college offers. So that's important to grow and to go. And we just want to not skip any steps on the ladder. So if we're starting from the bottom, we want to make sure that we're climbing and we're hitting every single step to make sure that we last a long time for our community, because we know that our community needs a where to next program. So we're tweaking things behind closed doors. We're reaching out to the right people to make sure we're in the right leagues or showing up to the right tournaments, making sure that our kids are getting to these camps and things like that, and just continue to promote and use social media in a positive light to really promote our kids, to make sure that they're getting those college coaches there.
Yeah. And is it Coach Trisha, Coach Chloe, and you?
So it's Coach Trish. So Coach Tani coaches our 17s. I'm
Okay.
going to coach our 16s. Coach Trish coaches our 15s.
Okay. Yeah. Because I keep hearing all y'all names together, so I'm like, let me
Yeah.
remember.
It
But
starts to roll into like one word in, and it's cool because we're handling the high school side, but our youth coaches are just as good, and we've gotten some more people who want to come on board and coach, because we're only going to last for as long as we have good coaches,
yeah.
right? Like, I can't coach every team. Coach Tani and Coach Trisha can't coach every team. Coach Owens or Alyssa can't coach every team. So we're starting to get to the point where we're like, okay, cool, you can have this team and you're going to keep them until they go, and then we recycle, and we go back again to a younger team. So right now I coach 16s and I coach a fifth grade team, and I love it because it's such a huge gap.
Yeah.
But I'm able to, like I tell anybody, if I can teach something to a kindergartner, I can teach it to a 16-year-old. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah. With identity, how important is it to stress identity for the players, being that they normally look on social media and compare themselves to five-star players, and they comparing
Mhm.
themselves versus worrying about their self and what they can bring to the table and the best player that they can be?
I do a lot of sharing kind of my story and Chance's story, and I use the two of us just because they're very different, right? So, like, we were both McDonald's All-Americans. We've both done this, but we both have taken our own journey to get to our ultimate goal of being a pro. For me, I was high level at high school, and I was all of this and I was all of that. Then once I got to college, it was a reality check for me. Like, hold on, now you have to continue to work
Yeah.
to get to that next level, the same amount of work that you put in to get to college. And then I went through my health complications, and I finished college. I finished on, the A10 All-American team. I finished all of that stuff, and then I took 4 years off before I went pro. So
Oh,
I tell that to say, like, look, if this is your ultimate goal, there's going to be different ways to get there. And your way doesn't have to be the same way as the person to the left or to the right, but y'all can still meet at the same end line.
yeah.
Just make sure that you keep your goal, your vision, your purpose, and your dream. Now let's make it to a reality. Let's write it down. Let's make sure we take every step, like I mentioned before. We're not going to skip steps on the ladder. Take every step and make sure you're grinding to get 2% better every day.
Yeah. Last question. Whatever comes on your mind, can you say something positive to the youth?
And you can do it. You have to believe in yourself. Tune out the tune out the haters. right? Because when you believe in yourself, you can accomplish anything that you want to believe in. And again, every opportunity you have, and no matter what it is that you're pursuing, it doesn't have to be basketball. Make sure that you work every single day to get 2% better at that.
Yeah. And when it's all said and done, what do you want your legacy to be about? When they think about Coach Gray and
Yeah.
coaching, what you want them to think about?
That she loved us, that she gave her all to not only grow me as an individual, but to grow the game. And she left everything out there on the court and believed like, nah, we can really do it. And that way they can now, like we tell them all the time, go be legendary. You know, we had Pat Summit, we have Gino RM, and we have Don Staley. We have these amazing coaches that we're looking up to. I want to be them within my own world and at the level that I'm at, and not necessarily all the wins and stuff, because they're very, if you look at those three, you know, they're up there. But the part that you want to take away is they believed in those kids. They give everything to those kids on and off the court. And no matter what is going on, you can always go back and you can reach out to them and you can say, like, hey, no, like they were that. And
Yeah.
that's what I want to be.
Yeah. Well, we thank you for coming on here. We're spotlighting you
Absolutely.
for all your hard work, not even on the in the court, but just with the kids and their well-being, growing them up off the court as well, because that's also important. And we just pray that God continue to bless you, that He cover you, that He lead you. May your steps be ordered. May He give you favor in your life, with your team, with the kids and everybody that you need to be around. May you be around them, and may your light shine, and may you continue to pour out into them all the things that they need, because it's obvious that your fruit is showing from the seeds that you have sown with all the kids
Yes,
and
sir.
how highly they speak of you. So may God continue to bless you in your program.
And I appreciate that. Thank you guys again. Thank you very much for having me on. And hey, we'll be seeing you soon.
Oh, y'all for sure. Ladies and gentlemen,
Absolutely.
Coach Amber Gray.